Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX with me, Devika Devan. Tonight, the Middle East is standing on the precipice of a dangerous new chapter, viewers. A fragile, weak-souled ceasefire between the United States and Iran is on the verge of absolute collapse following an unprecedented drone strike targeting the United Arab Emirates' sole nuclear power facility. For the first time since the wider regional conflict erupted, a peaceful civilian nuclear site has been pulled into the crosshairs, fundamentally changing the rules of engagement in the Gulf. The incident unfolded on Sunday when 3 hostile drones breached UAE airspace. While the Emirati air defenses successfully intercepted 2 of the incoming aircrafts, a third managed to evade detection. It struck an external electrical generator located just outside the inner security perimeter of the Baraka nuclear power plant. The impact ignited a significant fire, sending thick plumes of smoke into the desert sky. Emergency response teams rushed to the scene and swiftly contained the blaze. The UAE's Federal Authority for Nuclear Regulation, along with the International Atomic Energy Agency, immediately issued updates confirming that the plant's core reactors and safety systems were entirely unaffected, and thank God for that. There have been no casualties and, crucially, 0 radiological leaks. However, the UN's nuclear watchdog has noted that Unit 3 had to temporarily switch to emergency diesel generators to maintain power, highlighting just how close this strike came to a catastrophic disruption. To understand why this is such a critical escalation, you have to look at the sheer scale and geography of the Baraka facility. Located in Abu Dhabi's remote western Al Darfa region, right along the coastline of the Persian Gulf and close to the Saudi Arabian border, Baraka is a $20 billion technological marvel built in partnership with South Korea. It is the Arab world's very first operational commercial nuclear power station, and more importantly, it is a vital organ of the UAE's modern infrastructure. It supplies roughly 25% of the entire country's clean electricity. Geopolitical analysts are now warning that because the plant is isolated deep in the desert, this strike was not accidental. It was a calculated, highly precise psychological warning shot, explicitly designed to prove to the Gulf states that their most sensitive energy infrastructure is well within reach. The mystery deepens when we look at who is responsible. As of tonight, no group has formally stepped forward to claim the attack. The UAE Ministry of Defense revealed a crucial piece of telemetry. The 3 drones did not fly directly across the Persian Gulf from the east. Instead, they crossed into the UAE over its western border. This specific flight path points heavily to a highly coordinated cross-border operation. Suspicion has now fallen squarely on Iran and its powerful network of regional proxies. Imagine just hours after the Baraka strike, neighboring Saudi Arabia announced that its own air defenses had intercepted and destroyed 3 weaponized drones entering its northern airspace directly from Iraqi territory, which is a known stronghold for Tehran-backed Shiite militias. Intelligence officials believe that these militias are intentionally utilizing complex, indirect flight paths through Iraqi and Saudi airspace to bypass the sophisticated air defense networks that are stationed on the eastern coasts of the Gulf. The global reaction has been swift, aggressive and highly volatile. US President Donald Trump, fresh off a high-stakes phone call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, took to social media. He's issued a scathing direct ultimatum to Iran. Trump declared that for Iran, the clock is ticking, warning them that they better move fast to comply with diplomatic demands or, quote-unquote, there won't be anything left of them. Backing up this fiery rhetoric, Washington has intensified its tight naval blockade around the critical Iranian ports, matching Iran's own tightening chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz shipping lanes. Across the globe, major international players are sounding the alarm. India's Ministry of External Affairs has released a strong statement condemning the strike as an unacceptable act of aggression and a flagrant violation of international humanitarian law, urging all parties to step back from an all-out energy crisis. Meanwhile, inside Iran, state television anchors appeared live on air holding assault rifles, a chilling broadcast designed to signal to the Iranian public that the regime is ready for open warfare. And this brings us to the most critical question. Why does this single drone strike completely jeopardize the regional ceasefire and the broader Iranian deal? Well, viewers, on the 8th of April, a conditional truce was brokered to pause the direct, devastating military exchanges between the US, Israel and Iran, opening a narrow window for diplomatic talks regarding a permanent end to hostilities and a revised nuclear framework. But this strike blows that diplomacy apart. By targeting a nuclear facility, the attackers have crossed an unspoken red line. The UAE, which has been hosting advanced Israeli defense personnel and assets during this conflict, made it clear today that it will not tolerate threats to its sovereignty and reserves its full military right to retaliate. With Saudi Arabia actively intercepting drone swarms from Iraq and previously launching its own direct retaliatory strikes onto Iranian soil, the Gulf states are no longer just practicing absolute restraint. The April ceasefire was built on a foundation of mutual deterrence, but when regional proxies can successfully strike the crown jewel of the UAE's energy sector, while Tehran prepares its public for war, the space for diplomacy evaporates. Tonight, as the US naval blockade tightens and the rhetoric reaches a fever pitch, the Middle East is closer than ever to a total unraveling of peace. Thank you for watching.